Straight all day.
Dre Baldwin, workonyourgameuniversity.com. The easiest way to get anything. I'm going to explain to you what that is here in this video. First thing is, we got to understand how the law of attraction works. I think all of you have heard of the law of attraction. Some of you may have seen the movie or read the book called The Secret, that alleges that it tells you what the secret is, bringing things in. Secret, long story short, is the law of attraction. The problem is a lot of people misconstrue how the law of attraction actually works and why it works. The law of attraction is a real thing, and yes, it does work. The issue is people don't quite understand how and why it works, so they have the wrong idea of it. And if you watch the movie The Secret or read the book The Secret, a lot of it got bastardized way too much, and then people who, for the most part, as I've told you all in the past, people don't think, they don't read, and they're lazy. So people just get the gist of what The Secret is about, which is the law of attraction, and they think, okay, well, if I just have myself or a thought, or I feel like I'm quote unquote attracting things, I'm not chasing them, I'm attracting them, then I'll get the things that I want in life. That's not quite how it works, because you could feel like you're attracting something and never attract it, and you could feel like you are repelling things but still actually be bringing them into your life. So let's figure out how this actually works. First of all, the law of attraction is true, that you become what you think about. You become your energies, the things that you think, the things that you believe, the things that you are emotionally engaged with. You will bring more of those things into your life, whether you want to or not. However, just thinking about them alone is not enough, because when you truly believe something and it truly is part of who you are as a person, you will also take corresponding actions around those things that you attract. And getting back to the theme of what I want to talk about here today, which is the easiest way to get anything. The easiest way to get anything is to be in an emotional and mental, and what's it called, emotional and mental, some of you may even go as far as saying spiritual, but let's just say emotional and mental state of knowing that you already have it. And when you're in that energetic state, you attract more of what you already believe that you have. And on the flip side, if you go through life believing that you don't have something and you quote unquote need it, or you need to quote unquote get it, then you are creating the energy within yourself that you don't have it. Because if you're telling yourself you need to go get something, that means you don't have it. Now, if you say you need to get more of something, that's a completely different thing. Just putting the word more in there changes the dynamic of the statement. But when you say you need to go get something, or you need something, or you're short of something, or I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't have something, then you are putting the energy out there, starting with in your own mind, that you are short of something, that you are lacking, that you are wanting, that you are in a scarcity of that thing. And the energy of scarcity only attracts more scarcity. Whereas on the flip side, the energy of abundance attracts more abundance. Anything that you believe you already have, even if you're telling yourself a complete lie, if you believe that you have it and you carry yourself like you have it, and you think and you make decisions as if you have it, you will find yourself having more of that thing. That's how it works. That's how the law of attraction actually works. And the challenge with the law of attraction is that it is very challenging for most people to put themselves in a frame of mind that they already have something when they factually do not have it. And this is why the law of attraction is the law of attraction, because it only works. You only usually notice it manifesting itself with people getting more of what they do indeed actually have, and getting more of, or having less of the things that they already believe that they don't have. In other words, you usually notice the law of attraction in the rich becoming richer and the poor becoming poorer, because people who are rich already have the mindset that I have everything, and because they have that energy, they tend to draw more of everything into their lives. Whereas the poor have the mindset that I don't have anything, and because of that energy, they tend to attract more reasons and more feelings and more quote unquote facts and reality, quote unquote, that they don't have anything. So this is why the gap between those who have and those who don't have continues to grow, because the law of attraction causes it to grow. The good news is you can get yourself on either side of this equation anytime that you want to, just by changing your state. And the longer you can maintain a state, the stronger the effects of that state. So the longer you can get yourself into a state of I have it, even if on a factual level you don't, but you get yourself in an energetic mental state that you do, the longer you can maintain that state, the more stuff you're going to find yourself having. Just because you put yourself in that state. You can have no money in your account, but you put yourself in a mental state that you do have money, you'll find yourself having more money. And the longer you can stay in that state, then the actual reality of how much money you have will change, and you do actually have money. As long as you can maintain that state, not take your foot off the gas, not get complacent, not relax, you will find yourself having more and more money, and more opportunities to bring money to yourself will keep showing up in your life simply because you're in that energetic state. This is how it works. And on the flip side, you put yourself in a mindset that you don't have, or you lose that connection to the mental state that you are going to get a thing. Well, what happens is slowly you start putting yourself more into the scarcity mindset, and you have less of the thing. This is how it works. Again, this is the law of attraction. And the important part of that phrase you need to understand is law, L-A-W. What that means is these are principle-based, and this does not change. There are no exceptions. There are no exceptions to a law. So the law of gravity says that if you are on top of a building and you jump off the building, there's no way that you can go up. You will always go down, right? Because the law of gravity says you are being pulled down towards the earth at 9.8 meters per second. There is no exception to that law. Law of attraction also does not have any exception, does not tolerate exceptions. Meaning whatever energy you are carrying yourself with, you will find yourself drawing more of it. So if you have the energy of everybody wants to be friends with me, everyone wants to talk to me, everyone wants to be associated with me, then you're going to find magically, and I'm being facetious when I say magically, everyone you come across seems to want to engage with you, talk to you, be your friend. Why? Because you're conducting yourself with that energy. And the energy you put out into the world is the energy that you get back. And on the flip side, if you're of the mindset that I don't want to talk to anybody, I don't want anyone to bother me, I don't like people, and I just want to be left alone, well, guess what? It will appear magically that nobody really wants to talk to you, and nobody is really engaging with you. Why? Because you are conducting yourself with that energy, and the energy you put out is the energy that you get back. This is the law of the universe. Now, some of you may be wondering right now, you may be thinking to yourself, okay, Dre, I get what you're saying on a logical level. However, look at me and look at my situation, look at my life. And this is you talking. And you're saying to yourself, well, I try to have that positive mindset as much as I can. And this mindset of I have things, and I attract things into my life, and I'm not of this scarcity mindset. Why then, given what you're explaining, Dre, why am I not getting the things or more of the things that I want in my life? Because I feel like I'm trying to do this at least as much as possible. That's a good question. Let me answer it. Reason why, even though you feel like you are trying as much as you consciously can remember to keep yourself in that positive, abundant mindset, the problem is you're not staying there. And because you're not staying there, you also have to remember that in the universe, there is no neutral. You are either building or destroying, you are growing or dying, you are getting better or you're getting worse. There are no exceptions to this. And again, there's no in between, there's no neutral. You're getting better, worse, growing, or dying. So if you're saying something like, I try to put myself in that positive mindset as much as I can, that's fine. I believe you. I don't think you're lying. The problem is, anytime that you're not in that positive mindset, whether because you're not trying or because you forgot or just because of your habits, any moment you spend not in that mindset, guess what mindset you are in? You're in a mindset that's taking you backwards and going in the other direction, which means every minute you are not spending in the positive, abundant mindset, you are in the scarcity, I don't have it mindset. And this is the reason why you find yourself continually going on this loop. Sometimes you got it and sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's working and sometimes it's not, because you're mentally not staying in the same spot. And to get into that one spot mentally and to stay there is a way of being, and your way of being is developed through your habitual practice. Same way that someone who's in great physical shape doesn't just randomly get in physical shape because they randomly remember to go to the gym every now and then. They have a structure and a system for going to the gym. It's the same way if someone wants to be in a certain mindset all the time, like all the time with no exceptions, you have to have a structure and a system for keeping yourself in that mindset. We call that mental conditioning. And mental conditioning is one of the key pieces of our framework that I call the bulletproof mindset. And the bulletproof mindset is all about conditioning your mind for you to be a certain type of person, not so you can remember to think a certain way, because conscious thinking is a activity. Being a certain type of person is a way of being, is a way of living, is a what's the word? Existential state. It's not something you have to remember to do. So if you have to remember to think a certain way, that's an action. And in life, the process for achieving things is being the person first, then taking the actions, and then getting the results. Most people start with the actions, and then they do all these actions, and they wonder why their actions are not producing the results, even though they feel like they're doing all the quote-unquote right actions, simply because you did the operation out of order. You didn't do the being part first. You get the being part down, the actions happen naturally. And that's the structure in the system. Structure in the system leads to the being part, because all you got to do is follow the structure. And there's an automatic outcome that comes from following the structure. When there is a real system in place, the system produces the same outcome over and over again. That's what makes it a system. Same way McDonald's has a system. There's a system for making a burger. Doesn't matter who works at McDonald's, as long as you follow the system, the burger's going to come out the same way. It's going to look the same, taste the same, all that stuff. Why? Because there's a system for how to make the burger. You got it? You need to have a system when it comes to your mindset and your energetic state, such that you are conducting yourself mentally and energetically, and again, if you want to say spiritually, in a certain way all the time. And it needs to be steady, it needs to be consistent, and there needs to be no exceptions. And the way you do that is not by remembering it 24 hours a day. That's impossible. You got too many other things going on in your mind. The way you do it is conditioning your mind through the process of mental conditioning that, again, we teach in our Bulletproof Mindset Framework, which you can access as soon as you become a member of Work on Your Game University. And the link to the university is down below in the description to this video. So Work on Your Game University is where you can learn this conditioning process. And again, it's conditioning. Great thing about conditioning is that when you get conditioned a certain way, you don't have to think about it anymore. It's already done, it's already set, and it basically goes on autopilot. The good news is, more good news, is that you're already conditioned. You listen to this right now, you are already conditioned. You're just conditioned for randomness, and this is why you sometimes get the results you want and you sometimes don't get the results you want, because your conditioning is reflected in your outcomes. So if you want it to get more, you want to make more money, you want to be more happy, you want to make more friends, you want to influence more people, you want things to go the way you want them to go more often, you need to condition yourself as if that is already happening. And again, this is difficult to do for those of you who are used to looking at quote unquote reality, whatever it is in front of you. And I'm using air quotes with reality because reality is subjective. My reality and your reality are not the same. All right, my reality, if I go to a bar and I want to talk to some girls, my reality of how that's going to go is different than your reality of how that's going to go. Why? Because I have my expectation, your expectation may not be the same. So reality is subjective. So any of you didn't know, there is no such thing as objective reality, because every human being has a different experience of what's happening in their own lives. My reality of driving a car is different than your reality of driving a car. We might be driving different cars. We got different experiences when it comes to actually operating vehicles. We have different thoughts about driving. You might drive every single day to go to work, 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. I don't drive that often. I drive like twice a week. So my experience and your experience of driving are not the same, just because we got different lives. I'm saying all that to say that reality is subjective. So when I put reality in air quotes, I want you to understand why I'm doing it. And just because you're calling something reality does not mean it applies to anyone other than yourself. All this being said, folks, workonyourgameuniversity.com. You want to get things in your life more easily without too much effort, without having to strain and strive and struggle, maybe the way that you have been up to this point, or maybe the way that you've seen others doing up to this point, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link is down below in the description to this video. That's where you get access to, as I already told you, the Bulletproof Mindset program. Also, you get access to me as your direct coach. Even better, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.